بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم تقبل منا وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك، ولا تجعلنا يا مولانا من الغافلين عن ذكرك ولا عن طاعتك، وتب علينا واغفر لنا وارحمنا يا أرحم الراحمين. What our job in here is just to give you an idea, a general terminology, the general idea, general comprehension of what's fiqh al-mu'amalat in Islam, which is called the Islamic Jurisprudence, in transaction, wheeling, dealing. What is the transaction? The transaction is a contract between two people or two group or two company, or between a person and a company, doesn't matter, but there are two sides to do benefit. They make contract to do benefit for both of them. He will get benefit and he will get benefit. Okay? This contract has to be detailed, number one. Has to be clear, no hidden things. The intention has to be clear that I am going to serve you to do a certain job for that certain amount of money. Okay? It has to be timely wise. There's going to be time. There's no open contract. It has to be done. It could be open contract, but it has to be specified that this is an open contract. Like, for example, people going into partnership. We're not going partners for 5 years. It could be. It would be written in the contract. It would be forever until one of us decided to terminate the contract. It could be, but it needs to be written. Okay? So those are all the details has to be there. The intention has to be correct. No hidden this. And now, also we need to put an item in the contract. I spoke about it a little bit last time. We reiterate on it a little bit more, which is how to terminate this contract before its maturity. If we decided to terminate the contract, I don't want to be partner with you anymore. I don't. So how are we going to terminate the contract? There got to be step 1, 2, 3, how to terminate the contract before its maturity. What's going to happen if one of us died? How's the heirs are going to fit into this particular contract? It has to be specified, all of these things. How about if we modify some of the rules or some of the items that we have in the contract? I wanted you to build me this room. All of a sudden my wife came in and she said, build another room or make another bathroom. Okay, so we need to modify it. How do we modify it? Some of the scholars said you don't modify it. You fulfill the first contract and you make another contract. Okay? So all of these has to be mentioned. But most importantly is the contract has to be for the sake of Allah, for the sake of the benefit in this dunya and the akhirah. It has to be clear, no hidden agenda, okay? And then the contract has to be free of the following, the scholar said. The contract has to be free from riba. Number one item, all the scholars have done. Well, how does the contract can have riba? Okay, since we said the contracts are too many, so let's take one of the contracts, what we call the contract of buying and selling. Okay? So if I give you, if I need $100 in 10s or in 20s, for example, it's just simple example, just to know the idea. I don't want to make the example is the lecture. The example is just the example. So let's say I need $100 in 10s and 20s and 5s. You and I have $100 solid, one piece. I'm going to give it to you. It's a contract. I'll give you the $100, one piece. You give me, another one, which is 5 and 10. Somebody is going to say, I'm gonna take 100 from you because I'm going to give it to you in pieces. I'm going to give you back $95. Okay? This is riba. This is what they call it, riba al-fadl. This is one of it. It could be. So this is riba. So just to understand what does riba mean? Riba means is that the money makes more than it's worth in terms of money. Okay? So that means when we're dealing with money, money versus money. The Prophet ﷺ said riba in 6 things. Riba in 6 things. الذهب بالذهب والفضة بالفضة والبر بالبر والشعير بالشعير والتمر بالتمر والملح بالملح يدا بيد. You see, وزنا بوزن كيلا بكيل. So there is no difference in between them. And that's why the hadith of that in the Bukhari, that the Prophet ﷺ sent somebody, he said, go to tribe so and so and bring me the date. You know, they owe the Prophet ﷺ some kind of date. So when the guy came back, he brought date to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ, this date is not from those people. I know the date of those people. This is not it. He said, Ya Rasulullah, their date was bad. So when I collected the date from them, I stopped by the market. I gave this guy, you know, like 3 pounds or 4 pounds of the date, the bad one. I took 1 pound of the good date, and that's what I brought you. And the Prophet ﷺ said that this ainul riba. This is the exact riba. Why? Because a riba has to be done according to the hadith. كيلا بكيل وزنا بوزن. الربا الفضل has to be في المكيلات والأوزان. It's not في الأعداد. This is another confusion people have. So I cannot give you 2 pounds of bad date, take 1 pound of good date. No. Because here there might be gharar, which we're going to come to it in a minute. Okay? So what's the deal? The Prophet ﷺ said, بِعْ هَذَا وَاشْتَرِي بِهَذَا. You have bad date, go free, you're free. Nobody is going to force you. You know, you have a bad date, I'm not going to give you only ½ kilogram. No, give me 3/4, no, half. And you don't want it because it's bad. So he will force you in a way. This is what they call ghish or gharar or ghuban or whatever, or take advantage of you. Okay? No. So the Prophet ﷺ said, go to the market, sell these 2 dates, the bad ones, sell them. Make money, you have your own money, you could go to anybody and buy whatever you want, you're free. Nobody's taking advantage of you, okay? So this is what they call it riba. So any good transaction. So number 1 of the transaction has to be free of riba. The second one, it has to be free of dhulm, transgression, you know, or cheating, or ghish, you know, you cheat somebody, you cannot. Also, it has to be free of riba, of gharar. What does gharar mean? Gharar means gharrara, khada'a. You know, he tricked him. Okay? Like this dunya, it's called mata'ul ghurur. That we see something beautiful, in fact, it is not. We ran after something, we think it is beneficial, the happiness is in it, and all of that stuff. But in fact, it is not. The disease, the wrong, the calamity, the whatever you have is in it. You know? So it's a deceiving thing. You know, deception. Al-ghurur is deception. So al-gharar, what does al-gharar mean? Okay, I can show you some kind of a product. I'm going to tell you so much about this product. It is very good, it's not breakable, it is nice, you could do this, you could do that, you could do that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to allure you, to invite you, to encourage you, to make deceptions for you, to make you buy it. Because I'm asking for it $15. Okay? So this is gharar. Gharar means is to convince somebody with something that it is not all that. Clear? Okay. So this is gharar. Gharrara bihi. He made him do it. Okay, falsely. This is haram. This is not. So that Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, Naha Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam an bay'i al-gharar. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made it forbidden. You cannot make gharar. So riba, dhulm, ghish, we got that far. We gharar, and then we have ghubn. Okay, what does ghubn mean? Ghubn means that this, I sell you this for $10. It's in the market is for $2. I sell it to you for 10 or 5, but in the market, it's only for $2. Okay? So they call it ghubn. غبنه, يعني بمعنى غشه. That means he charged too much for the product. This is haram. Okay? The scholar in the fiqh, in the jurisprudence in Islam, the scholar, we have school of thoughts, school of scholars. Those scholars, they said, well, ghubn, it got to be in every transaction. It is very seldom that you see a transaction that it's totally free of ghubn. So they here in the book of al-fiqh, you find what they call al-ghubn al-yasir, small ghubn. I'm going to sell it to you for $3. Everybody else sell it for $2. So $1 is ghubn yasir, small cheating. Ghubn fahish, it's worth $2. I sold it to you for 7 or 10. That's too much cheating, too much for it. Okay, and so the scholar have put so many things that this person is making haram. Can he go back on the sale? The scholar said yes, he can go back. Some of the scholars said no, but you raise it to the judge, and then the judge, will make a verdict on it. So different opinion of the scholar. But if somebody sold you a house only worth $30,000, he sold it to you for $70,000. What you do is you take him to the judge. I'm talking about Islamic judge. I'm not talking about American judge or non-Islamic. If you go to the American judge, he said, tough deal. You bought it, you accepted it, you sold it, And then they have a slogan here that al-qanun la yahmi al-mughaffalin. No, Sharia al-Islamiyya tahmi al-mughaffalin. The Sharia will protect people from being cheated. So this saying, it is not for us. Al-Qanun la yahmi al-mughaffalin. Al-Qanun does not protect those stupid ones. This is not in Islam. In Islam, there is no transgression, there is no cheating, there is no taking advantage of. Anytime you feel some wrong had been done to you, you raise it to the judge, and then the judge will take care of it. Yes, Habibi.
As Muslim, can we practice this business here in America? Can I buy something for 20, sell for 50? Here.
I don't understand.
Can we practice business in America like this business?
As a Muslim,
yes,
you should practice your contract as a Muslim. So there's no riba, you agree.
Yes.
No transgression,
yes,
you agree.
yes,
No cheating, you agree. No gharar.
yes.
Gharar, some of the scholars, they put 2 words with it. At-tadlis wal-kadhib. They put 2 words with al-gharar. They call it, you lie, or you hide, or you give it a description different than what it is. At-tadlis is giving a description to something different than what it is. Okay? Dallasa means he gave you the wrong information about something. Okay? So this is all part of the gharar. As a Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ, he prevented me. Another thing the scholars said, and many of them, they have said that, according to Jazakallah khair, they said, as a Muslim, you deal as Islam ordered you, because you're dealing with Allah first, before you deal with somebody else. When you're making a contract with me, or anything, you're making a deal with Allah before you make deal with me. So that's why they said, this is very beautiful. A lot of our scholars, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them, they said, Al-uqudu uqudun ma'allahi qabla al-iqadiha ma'an-nas. Al-uqudu lil-kasb al-ukhrawi wa lil-kasb al-dunyawi. Uqud is to get benefit in the akhirah and in the dunya. Al-aqd is you're making a contract with Allah before you make it with the opponent person. Okay? So How can a Muslim cheat? That's why the scholar said, if you look at what the Prophet ﷺ had forbidden and what the Prophet ﷺ had prevented us from doing, you will find it in the first plural form and the unidentified form. You see? Let's explain those two things. Plural things, من غش فليس منا. غش. As if the Prophet ﷺ said that the whole entire cheating, doesn't matter what kind, it doesn't matter where, it is not one of us. It is not part of our deen. And then also, he did not specify us or the Muslim. Man ghasha anywhere. Man ghasha anywhere. Whoever cheated anywhere, with Muslim or non-Muslim. Naha an al-gharar. Gharar, lying, tadlis, to give it this different description, or to cheat, or whatever you want. Gharar. With whom? He didn't say. So, gharar, plural, any gharar. With whom? With anybody. Why? Because I'm a Muslim. Because I deal with Allah before I deal with the opponent person or with the other person. So here in America, I have to deal this way. I rent houses. American comes to me, I deal with them the same thing that I deal with the Muslim. I'm clear, I show her the house, I tell her what it is, I give her the contract, all written contract, has so many items, what's my responsibility and what's their responsibility? It has to be. If that was the question, or I answer something.
Quick question. Living in a capitalist society, gharra and ghasha is all over the place, anywhere you turn.
What's that?
People lie, people always exaggerate their exchange, their muamalat. My question is this. For us as Muslim, I understand that I have to follow those guidelines when I am trying to make a deal with Muslim or non-Muslim. But what happens if I am facilitating a deal, I'm part of a setup that there's a lot of gharra and ghasha? Like for example, I work in an auto sales dealership. We know there's a lot of this cheating and boasting and all of that. And I'm just one of the car salespeople. I may not control it, but I'm facilitating it. Or what happens if I take my car in, a car that is worth more for a trade-in, but I have to do it because I know I'm going to be cheated, but I have to do it because I have to have a car in order to drive to work. In those situations, what is the ruling?
Okay. If we will postpone those questions, because they're all coming up. This is one of the 25 contracts, we call it, and then the scholar call it Aqdul Muttar. The contract that for the person who is under siege, under necessity, or under hurt or something, okay? Because of you brought this, let's finish one item at a time. We have a brother living close by, and his wife was giving a birth. And 5 o'clock in the morning, he started his car to take his wife to the hospital. The car did not work, so he called the taxi cab. The taxi cab came and he said, please hurry me. I need to take my wife to the hospital and this and that. He said, where are you going to go? He said, for example, Tuma Medical Center. He said, $120. يخرب بيتك, why $120? It's only like $30, $40. No, $120. This is called Aqdul Muttar. He has to take that cab, otherwise his wife is going to give a birth on the side of the street, you know. So he took the cab. When he got to the hospital, they got a problem. Okay? So anyway, this is what they call Aqdul Muttar. Aqdul Muttar is haram. It's forbidden for the person to do it. Now, how you deal with it, the scholar have so many options to deal with it. After you get to your destination, you don't have to pay him $120. You know, some of the scholars said you only pay him the average number. If you, a normal situation, but also you have to take in consideration that it's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not normal operation hour. So if you call anybody at 5 o'clock in the morning, what everybody's going to charge? Between 40 and 60, for example. So you give this guy $60. You give him the best because you are a Muslim, okay? But you don't give him 120. Some other scholar, they said, no, they took portion of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, البيعان المتعاقدان على شروطهما. المتعاقدان على شروطهما. The people who they make contract, they have to fulfill what they have agreed on. I want you to take me to the hospital. I'm going to charge you $120. Agree. And you rode in the car and he took you. You don't like it, you don't this, you don't that. Some scholars said that. Some other scholars protested. They did not accept that. See, so that's an open door. What you do is up to you. You may take from him a receipt and call the judge. Some other scholars, they said that. You know, you pay him the money, you take from him receipt, documentation, and then you raise him to the authorities and tell him that this guy have cheated me or charged me more than enough. But what you do is, in this case, you have fulfilled the contract, you're not wrong. So part of what you're saying is, if that's what you're talking about, or I'm talking about something else.
Right.
Yeah, so this is what they call bay'ul muttar. It's coming up. Anyway, so, but I was trying to get done of some of the important things, some of the definitions that people, you know, this akhi.
Now, this is about the services contract, not item interchanging. How does that affect? Because, okay, let's go into my kind of business. I charge quite minimum than what other insurance companies will charge for that services, but still I feel that it's too much. How would you rate that?
What did he say?
I have
that
no
question
idea.
of that.
بعض الخدمات اللي بيقدموا لنا اياها بيطلبوا مصاري اكثر. كيف بده يتعامل مع هاي الموضوع؟
بياخذوا مصاري اكثر؟
مثلا بعض الخدمات التي تقدم لنا.
طيب.
مثلا تطلع مثلا
Are you in need for it? Is it an urgent that you need to take it?
No, it's a services contract. I provide.
I know service contract, but you're saying sometimes they charge us more, right? ما هذا ما فهمتي عليه انت خذتينا.
I charge more, but it's still less than the other insurance companies do charge because they have got their overhead expenses.
You are within the guidelines, brother. You are within the guidelines.
But again, going back to the fourth item, we were talking about that how much investment is on my side is not equivalent to what I'm charging. That's what my it's maybe 20 to 30% or 40% maximum.
فهمت علي انت حسن؟
Basically, he's saying that if I think that I'm doing something, I'm charging more, but it is below the common rate that other people are charging.
That's why I said it's within the guideline. You're still within the guideline. You know, let's say I'm buying this. This is between 600 to 800.
We're talking about services.
Service.
It falls in the same formula.
Same thing. It's service or whatever. It's a contract. But the contract between 600 to 800. Some people charge 6, some people charge 8. So this is within the guideline.
I'm in the same boat. I do also services. So it's between 50 to 500. As long as I'm within that range, we're okay.
Yeah, Wasi, bring your chair over here.
Well, I asked you this question last week.
Let's bring your chair over here.
Because you're going back and forth with the translators.
So anyway, now you know riba, gharar, ghubn, all those definitions are clear? Yes. Ghish, okay. Now also in the contract, something is forbidden, they call it al-jahala. Something you hide, something you don't show. I'm selling you a house and I cover the walls, you know, with plywood because the walls are broken and they are about to cave in, maybe in 2 years or 3 years. This is jahala. It's haram. Haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not bless you for this sale. So those are main items. Lying, jahala, bad intention, ghish, riba, transgression, something unknown, deceiving him, telling him that it's able to do, it is not, and all of this, it's haram. So this is in the contrary. Okay.
Is there a limit to how much you can inflate the price? What do I mean is, for example, I go to Dubai, I buy this abaya.
You were not here.
I know, I'm sorry.
You were a little bit late. We're talking about, this is what they call ghubun. What does ghubun mean? You were not here.
No, I wasn't. Sorry, you don't have to repeat.
It's okay. Ghubun means you charge more for the product. Okay, I'm selling you this for $10. Everywhere in the market, it's $2. The scholar divided ghubun into two categories. Little ghubun, like this is worth $2, I sold it to you for $3. So I only cheated you with $1. They said it's okay. The scholar said, little ghubun is okay. But it's $2, I sold it to you for $10, it is not. Between $2 and $10, we have so many opinions between the scholar to what is acceptable, okay? Now, also part of this, al-ihtikar, monopoly, or to hold something. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا يحتكر إلا خاطئ. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith reported by Muslim, Imam Ahmad, Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, الجالب مرزوق والمحتكر ملعون. What does al-jalib mean? Al-jalib is the one who imports product. So the Prophet ﷺ said, person always look at the market and see what people need and go import it. They bring it from different town, different country, from different things. He said, the Prophet ﷺ, this person, al-jalib, marzuq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help him, will give him money, will give him benefit, Also they said, al-jalib is the one who produced, the scholar took that word from the Arabic roots and inflated it to where it covers more, okay? So they said al-jalib also means the one who manufacture or make farming. I know people always in need for corn. So what I do is I make farmland for corn. People always in need for wheat. So I make farmland. I wanna supply the market with what people need. I worry about the people. Wheat is important for bread, for this, for that. So I always make sure, as a farmer, that there's enough. I don't pay attention. Some of the scholars, they took that and they said that he does not pay much attention to how much profit he's going to make. If I wheat, the price is regular for wheat. But if I make my farmland for strawberry, maybe I'll bring more money. But people do not need strawberry as much as they need wheat. So me as a person, I'm gonna cultivate and make farming for wheat. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ, al-jalibu marzuq. Al-jalib, the one who inherit the importer, or the manufacturer, or the farmer who farm what people's need. Wal-muhtakiru mal'un. The person who hold the commodity to raise the price for it where people needed it. This is al-muhtakir. Nobody will will hold the commodity that people don't need. Or people do not in need for it. Between need and in need. مضطرين لها. Or they are always in constant consumption of it. Okay? Like sugar, like wheat, like whatever. So those, they hold that commodity until people need it, and there's not enough. So the price goes up and goes up and goes up. Then he put it in the market, sell it to make more profit. The Prophet ﷺ, he is condemned. Another hadith in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يحتكر إلا خاطئ. What does خاطئ mean? لا يحتكر does not hold the commodity except a person who is mistaken. But mistaken in the Arabic language is different than al-fuqaha. Al-fuqaha said al-khati here al-asi, al-athim. You see, this is it is not known. It got to be learned. Al-khati, the one who, the mistaker. In this hadith, the scholar said al-athim, the one who commits sinful act. Okay? Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam. Anyway, so now we talked about the contract, the definition of the contract, what can goes wrong with the contract. So far, anybody has a question about what those items we have covered? What does gharar mean, ya Murad?
Gharar?
No.
Uncertainty. Uncertainty.
The uncertainty is jahala.
Cheating.
Uncertainty is jahala.
Cheating.
Cheating. Cheating? It is cheating in the general format, but in the definite format. Gharar, to convince the person that the product has some kind of ability more than what it is. You know, I'm convincing you that this can do this and this and that. In fact, it does not. Okay? Gharar is cheating. Gharar is khida', that I'm tricking you. You know, this is all part of gharar. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed me when I was in Sudan, and I met one of the best doctors. I'm just trying to tell you the story about, you know, how important it is. A doctor in the University of Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, all his life is studying only one item in all of the uqud, in all of the fiqh al-mu'amalat, in all of the jurisprudence in Islam. He studied only one item. It's called al-gharar, the one I asked you about. And he gave me a book. He made it. It's about 500 pages. They said, and his name is Dr. al-Darir. That's his name. Yani may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, whether he's alive or dead. 500 pages, a book, is only talking about al-gharar. It's only one item. So now, Sister Message of Allah khair, we need to cover the whole entire fiqh al-mu'amalat on Sunday hour. I mean, you know, which is impossible. So anyway, so this is part of it. Okay.
I'm surprised it's not 1,000 pages, knowing the Muslim communities.
Now?
I said, knowing the Muslim countries, I'm surprised it's not 1,000 pages.
Khalas. Good. Anyway, the uqud also, it has been defined by the scholar into too many terminologies. They call it uqud lafziyya, that we don't have to write it down. I'm selling you this for $10, give me $10, I give you this, yalla salamu alaikum, we're done. Aqd lafz. It's uqud lafziyya. Uqud, they may take more action in a period of time. Okay? I want you to come and dig my yard and do this and do that, so we write a contract. Uqudun kitabiyya, maktuba. Okay? That's the second type. Stay with me. Uqud lafziyya, uqud kitabiyya. Assalamu alaikum. The third type of uqud is, they call it uqud qiyasiyya. Okay? Uqud qiyasiyya, that means aqd is already well known. Okay? So I don't have to redo it every time. It could be uqud qiyasiyya, like what they call a formality type of contract. Okay? Somebody is trying, somebody want to get married. Okay? They go to the sheikh, they said, I want to get married to so and so. Okay, here's a contract, fill up the blanks. Okay? It's called uqud qiyasiyya. I don't have to reinvent the contract and write all of it. And there's a aqd, the husband, the wife, the dowry, ala sunnatillahi wa rasulihi, you know, When does it get affected? Say قبلت, say قبلت, السلام عليكم. We're done. This is عقود قياسية. A fourth type of عقود, there are some people have come in. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. عقود زمنية. عقود that it is timely controlled. You know? عقود that it's controlled by time, which is important. So this عقود زمنية, the time has to be specified in it, and it has to be fulfilled. Okay? Those are one category the scholar have made. Another category scholar made, those are lawyers, more likely. They made those kind of contracts. They said they are contract madaniya, civil contract. Civil contract, what do they do? Civil contract is like buying, selling, doing this and doing that. You know, they call it a civil contract. Civil contract, they made it into four categories. They said, or more. Selling, buying, civil contract. Also, giving. I decided to give the masjid $100 a month. The people in the executive committee, they said, well, we're going to write a contract. You know? So we write a contract. They call it عقد الهبة, عقد التبرع. That's a civil contract. Also, they said to make corporation, to make contract with somebody, which there are too many. The contract for corporation or to do something between two people, it has so many formats. We cannot cover it. If somebody has a specific question, we answer that way. But it's a contract. Okay? Also a contract, civil contract, is for you to lend somebody money. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Baqarah, the longest ayah in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوا وليكتب بينكم كاتب بالعدل. So you write a contract. This is a civil contract. Also, there are so many of those contracts. They call it عقد الوديعة, believe it or not. I'm traveling overseas. I have this furniture, I have this jewelry, I have this. Please keep them with you. You know, I trust you until I come back. You need to write a contract. They call it عقد الوديعة. There's عقد, they call it عقد المقايضة. You know, it's a civil contract. There are so many عقود. There's one book was written, I don't know when, but it was written by one of the people who were trying to make a PhD. They wrote in it about 500 contracts. So the contracts are too many, okay? And some of them, I'm just trying to tell you all of this, to broaden your horizon to see that how much does it cover.
It is obvious to me that the knowledge, this field, the jurisprudence of this معاملات is so broad, there's no way I'll be able to get control of it. But here's my concern. I'm in a habit of writing contract with people that I deal with, be it vendors, insurance, lawyers, you know, landscapers. And in these contracts, I always look out for my personal interest. Number one, I put all those clauses in there. Number two, I try to be nice to the guy as well. But I really don't care about his benefits. I want to make sure I'm protected. Am I in big trouble? Because I really don't know what benefits him. All I know is what will harm me. And I want to make sure I'm protected against it.
Do you want the hard school of thought?
Or something that doesn't make me feel too bad. Huh? Something that doesn't make me feel too bad.
Well, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَعَامِلُ النَّاسَ كَمَا تُحِبُّ أَنْ يُعَامِلُوا. This one hadith. Treat people in the way that you like to be treated. Another hadith which is more authentic than this hadith, قال عليه الصلاة والسلام وَأْتِ النَّاسَ بِمَا تُحِبُّ أَنْ يُؤْتَى بِهِ إِلَيْكَ. وَأْتِ النَّاسَ. Come to them. And this is the reason why some scholars, they said it is stronger because it's broader term. وَأْتِ in any way. وَأْتِ إِلَيْهِمْ بِالسَّلَامِ بِالْكَلَامِ بِالْمُعَامَلَةِ anything. Come to the people or treat the people or deal with the people in the way they like to deal with you as a Muslim. We already said with the brother Bushra Nuru, Jazakallah khair, that you are making a contract with Allah before you're making a contract with people. We also said that we're making a contract for you to get the benefit in this dunya and in the akhirah. Okay? And so being selfish, it is not a good Islamic practice.
Not being selfish, I'm talking about just pointing things to protect me and not paying attention too much on him.
I'm going to add another word. Partially selfish.
What?
Partially selfish. So we can get out of it. So partially selfish, it is within the human being. Of course, I want to make a contract, I want to get the benefit from it. But I don't want to make benefit where I'm going to do transgression on the other part.
Right, I agree.
Where I'm taking out of his right. And then I have to worry about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told me in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ. When I'm buying, I need 2 kilograms, يَسْتَوْفُونَ, I get 2 kilograms and 15 grams more. Okay? يَسْتَوْفُونَ. They take more than their right. وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. And if I'm the one who is giving them the 2 kilograms, I give him 1.9 kilograms rather than 2. You see? Both ways. Do not. So in other words, be right. Be right. And also, sometimes as a Muslim, you're dealing with a person who's not very sharp. Okay? You're dealing with a person that is not very sharp. Look what I said. I said a person. I didn't say a Muslim. I said a person. And I meant to say that because that's what the scholars said. Sometimes you deal with a person who is not very sharp. So now you have a whole door open for you to take advantage of him. Do not. Do not. Somebody came to do some work for you. He doesn't know the capacity of that work and what's going to take. He said, I'm going to charge you $100. But rather than take him 4 hours as he thought, it took him 8 hours. You still give him $100 because of the contract? You know, he didn't know. So, deal as a Muslim. This is what it is. So, let me go back. Otherwise, if I don't make it, then somebody's going to ask me to do it next week, and I don't want to do it next week. Okay. So first, what we call it, عقود مدنية, civil contract. The second one, عقود تجارية. عقود تجارية, the control out of this is for merchants and for commercial. There are binding laws for all of this, and there are terminology for it. But I'm trying to make you take an idea, what are those type of contract? And also عقود إدارية, you know, that I'm gonna rent your houses, I'm gonna manage your company, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do, you know, administrative work. And then I get paid for it. So number 4 is عقود الأحوال الشخصية. Some people, they made it all by itself, like getting married, getting divorced, you know, and maybe under it you could go the inheritance laws and what have you. So they have those things. Okay. They said those civil contracts could be divided into categories. Like what we said, to own. I'm buying a house from you. There's a contract to buy, to purchase, to sell. Also, عقود انتفاعية. It's to get benefit, you know. Like I'm renting from you. The contract for rent, they call it عقود انتفاعية. I get benefit because of the rent, you get benefit of using the house, okay? And there's also عقود انتفاعية without profit, okay? For example, you need to borrow my telephone, or you need to borrow my ladder, or you need to borrow my cooking pot, or you need to borrow my copying machine, okay? They say that they call it عقود العارية. عقود عارية is عقود where you lend somebody something. I'm not renting, I'm lending it to you. I'm making it borrow it, okay? Without any benefit to me. I want the benefit from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I'm going to write a contract that you take, for example, this, whatever it is, and you use it properly. You don't abuse it. You don't overuse it. I'm going to give you a ladder. I give it to you a ladder one piece. You don't bring it back to me 2 pieces. You break it. You put too much weight on it. Okay? So you write a contract. When you're going to take it, when you're going to bring it back, how much you're going to use it, don't abuse it, don't break it, don't do this, don't do that. This is called عقود عارية. This is part out of the civil contract, they do it. Okay. No. We're done with those for this. There are other contracts which I'm sure if I said, we're going to open a whole open door for it, and it's only 1 o'clock. So, but I have to say it because it's part of the عقود. They call it, ما بعرف وين كتبتها، خلوا بالكم عني شوي بس. They call it عقود المراهنة or عقود عقود احتياطية. They call it, they have those so many names. They call it عقود الطوارئ. Okay? All of these عقود. Most of this عقود, most of it, the scholars throughout the history of Islam made it haram. Under those عقود, they call it عقد التأمين. It's to have insurance. Okay? It's like murahana. If something happened, the insurance company will pay. If nothing happened, they took the money. Okay? عقود إفية. If it happened, then they pay. If it doesn't happen, you lost your money. Most of the scholars, they made it haram. عقود المراهنة, I'm buying a lottery ticket. If I get the number, I win. If I don't get the number, I lose. Okay? They call it this. They call it عقود طوارئ. Also, if something happened, I'm buying insurance against calamity that's going to happen to the house. If there's no calamity, they take the money. Most of the scholars, they said it is haram. More details they give it to it. Until about 1950. In 1950, we have our doctor, and he's my doctor, and he's my teacher. He's called Dr. Mustafa Zarqa, rahimahullah. Dr. Mustafa Zarqa, to give you a little bit of idea without wasting too much time, he was the head of the teaching of fiqh, the head. عميد كلية الشريعة في جامعة دمشق. In the University of Damascus, he is the head, he is the dean of the legislative theological section in the University of Damascus, you know. So he's a doctor, and he challenged most of the doctors at his time, and by writing letters that عقد التأمين, it is not haram. Insurance is not haram. Not on it is
All kinds or certain kinds?
not على الإطلاق, not all of it, okay, but specified. But we're talking about عقد التأمين. Let me go a little bit on it because we're living in it, all of us. He said, the people who they made it haram, he said, because you're paying something toward nothing, or to where you were paying something toward an iffy things. And they call it عقد الجهالة, as unknown. Remember when we talked about the عقود, they said the unknown is haram. So all of the scholars, they talked about عقد التأمين as عقد جهالة. It is unknown contract. You do not know for sure, whether it's going to happen or not. So you're paying money for iffy things. And they call it, this is haram. Right? He said, no, it is not haram. عقد الجهالة, if it's deliberately, you're making it unknown, you're hiding something, that could be haram. Like for example, and he gave examples with it, and we have to say it. Okay, here is a pool of water. I have so many fish in it. I'm going to sell you all the fish in this pool for $500. This is jahala, unknown. How many fish? How many pounds? How many this? I don't know. So this is aqdu jahala. It is haram. Why? Because there could be so many fish that they're worth $700. You cheated yourself by giving it to me for $500. That's not acceptable. It could be that there is only fish for $300 and you gave it to me for $500. You cheated me for $200. That is not halal.
How does
That's
it apply
haram.
to the insurance?
Huh?
How does it apply to insurance?
I'm coming to it. I'm trying to show you what aqd jahala. And then I'm going to show you, if you allow me, the difference between this one and aqdu at-ta'min, the insurance company. You make trouble in ICK, you make trouble here. Wherever you go, you make trouble. La ilaha illallah. But I love you. So anyway, aqd jahala. This aqd jahala is haram. Okay? But buying insurance, if my car hits or a tornado hit my house, also it is unknown. I don't know if the tornado is going to hit or tornado is not going to hit. He said, but there is a difference. The difference is, you're going to be shocked, the peace of mind, the worry that you live in. Okay? So surely I'm paying $500 to insure my house from a tornado. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Okay? So then I can go to sleep, relax and happy. If something happened, the insurance company will pay for my house. Some people said, he said, why don't you depend on Allah? He told them, you went the wrong ground. Depending on Allah has nothing to do with this. The same thing with the guy came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I left my camel outside, depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, tie it and depend on Allah. Take the proper precaution and depend on Allah. Depending on Allah is one thing. Taking the proper precautions is another thing. This is the only house I have. Tornado hit it, I'll be living in the streets between me and my wife and my children. I don't have money to rebuild it. So I have to have a peace of mind. Then he brought them an example which broke the whole entire discussion. He said, let's say that you have a shop that you sell gold or you sell merchandise or you sell whatever you sell. Okay? And the police is loose. The police, they are not very good. So what you do to protect your assets, you hire a guard. He put a chair and he sits in front of your building all night long. Okay? He's charging you $2,000 a month. What did you get when you hire a guard to put in front of your shop? What did you get? He didn't do nothing.
Peace of mind.
You got a peace of mind. You went to sleep, relax. There's somebody protecting you. Allah is the protector, true. Allah as a protector is one thing, taking precaution is another thing. So he said, this is aqd. It's as iffy aqd, like what you're saying. Aqd, it has, maybe not, but I'm paying money for it, for me to have a peace of mind. Is this haram? None of the scholars said aqd al-hirasa is haram. You know, for protection. It is not. You walk in the city, you go downtown at 12 o'clock for business or something, there are so many criminals, you hire a bodyguard. All what he does, he walks with you. He doesn't do nothing. You see? You pay him money to protect yourself. So he said, the insurance, nothing in the Sharia make the insurance haram. Provided that you're not going to cheat the insurance company. The insurance company is not going to cheat you. The insurance company is not going to take advantage of us. And we're not going to take advantage of the insurance company. Okay? But it becomes a fact of life. And he told them another thing, which is astonishing. In Al-Madhab al-Hanafi, in the book of Hashiyat ibn Abdin radiallahu anh, which is the best. Hashiyat ibn Abdin is the best and contains all the verdicts, the good verdicts of Al-Madhab al-Hanafi. In Hashiyat ibn Abdin, they said that those Muslims, some of them are tabi'een. And a tabi'i is the one who saw the Sahabi, but he did not see the Prophet. He saw a Sahabi and he learned from him, or he talked to him, or he lived with him, or they had a relationship. A tabi'i is the one who dealt with the Sahabi. Some of those at-tabi'een, when they used to buy merchants like spices or tea or something, and the ship has to take them, so sometimes they have storm in the sea, will the ship flip over and everything will go back, right? Will drown or anything. They said those merchants, which they are early people, tabi'in or tabi'in, they used to buy insurance. There's somebody they call him Damin. The Damin. He said, give me the tea, give me the spices, give me your merchandise, and I am Damin, I am Kafil, I am sponsor.
The guarantor.
Guarantor, sponsor. That I'll take this commodity from you here, I'll give it to you in whatever place you want for a certain amount of money. Okay? Which is more than if you ship it yourself with a shipper. Okay? So why you're paying this more? Because he is Damin. He is protector, he is guarantor, and he is whatever, sponsor. Okay? So he said, Ibn Abdin radiallahu anh, and all the scholars of Al-Madhab al-Hanafi, they made it halal. And they accepted it. And now they're telling me it's an iffy contract. No, I want to have a peace of mind. Okay? So this is what it is. So this is what they call.
I totally understand it applying to health insurance, car insurance, home insurance, renter's insurance. Does it apply to life insurance? And there are different versions of life insurance.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given me the vision that I know from all of those people, nobody's going to ask me about this except you. You're going to do that?
Yes.
Are you related?
No.
سبحان الله.
Maybe somewhere.
يخلق من الشبه 40.
And no, I'm not planning on killing anybody.
Is it, there can be, I cannot hear.
You're making too much noise, whoever speaking in the back.
I cannot hear.
We need a microphone today.
Huh?
We need a lot of people. We need a microphone for you.
So what do you want me to do? They're not hearing me?
Probably not.
Well, we have two options. Either the ladies need to stay quiet or you need a microphone. We need to do one of them.
None of them is possible. Okay. So you can come closer here. I don't mind.
Just speak
I'm not
loud.
going to look. Come closer here. You know.
Supposed to be quiet.
Anyway, life insurance, some of the scholars, they took the study of Dr. Mustafa Zarqa and they elaborate on it. They made it bigger. And only they made it if it's necessity. So let's say, for example, you're not in Afghanistan anymore, where your tribe can protect you and your family and what have you, in case, God forbid, something happened to one of the members of the family. We are in an isolated area here. Nobody helps nobody. And I have children and a wife, and I'm the only supporter for them. If something goes wrong with me, they're going to be wasted. So some of the scholars, they said, you can buy life insurance on you for the protection of your children and your wife. This is not the majority opinion of the scholar, but some of the scholars took that liberty by expanding needs and necessity and to protect the Muslim and the Muslim family. They said that person can do it. Okay? But if you don't need it, you're not going to do it. You shouldn't do it. It's haram. I don't need, even if I die, my children and my wife will be okay. My wife can work, my children can work. They're not going to die off of hunger, you know, or being out of place. I shouldn't buy life insurance. Also, the scholar who they said it is okay, they put another provision in it, which is, for example, if your family only needs $100,000, you know, for example, for a lifetime policy, you shouldn't buy $200,000. You shouldn't buy more than what you need. You buy only what you need, okay? The same thing goes for the insurance, which Dr. Mustafa Zarqa have addressed it. My house worth $150,000, for example. I shouldn't buy insurance where the house I can get $250,000 or $300,000. You buy what you need. Those are the provisions that you need to put on those contracts. In other words, those scholars, what they have done is they went to the early fiqh articles, which is الضرورات تبيح المحظورات. The necessity can make you able to break the rules of haram a little bit. Okay? Like the person who is about to die and there's nothing to drink except wine. How much does he drink? A sip to make him alive. He does not drink a bottle, a sip. Take her phone number, sister, and call her later. Somebody is here. You see what I'm saying? Stay with me, Brother Wasi. It's okay. Yeah, sister, no talking. Yeah, sister, for God's sake. We're not hearing anyway. Jazakillah khair. So anyway, so you do it, you know, with portion. So the same thing they applied there. So there are three rules. الضرورات تبيح المحظورات. You can break the rule according to your necessity. Secondly, الضرورة تقدر بقدرها. الضرورة is only by its measure. You don't increase it. I'm only in need for one sip. I don't take two. I'm only in need for one bite. I take that bite. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَمَنُ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ. You know, he's not the transgressor one. He does not take more than what he needs. The third one is الضرورات تبيح المحظورات. الضرورة تقدر بقدرها. The third one is والضرورة تقدر من قبل صاحبها. Some people come to me and said, I am sick, I need to break my siyam, my fasting. Ya akhi, I'm not going to tell you to break your fast. That's a decision you make. But I'm going to tell you the rule. If somebody is sick, he can break his fast. Then you could determine whether you're sick or not. I don't determine it for you. Okay? Somebody says, I need to borrow money. You could borrow money. You know, you could buy ta'min. You could. But how much is you need to determine that part. So, uqood, this is what they call uqood al-rihan. The iffi uqood, iffi, it's part of it is halal, according to Dr. Rahimahullah, or part of it is haram, like you buy a lottery ticket, you know, or some people, they go to the casino, they play, they put on red, if it came on red, they win, they came on black, they lose, you know, it's an iffi. Those uqood are haram, period.
طب عقود الطوارئ كويس حرام.
شو ها؟
عقود الطوارئ.
نعم.
ليش حرام؟
طوارئ؟
أكيد عقود احتياطية، عقود طوارئ. لأنه most of those عقود المراهنة كلهم هدول حرام حرام حرام. ليه؟
الطوارئ, we put it as a طوارئ, but we took it like taking advantage of, like we gave the example.
التاكسي؟
Huh?
قصة التاكسي؟
Taxi, yeah. So it says it is haram. Because you cannot take advantage of the people and take advantage of their disease or take advantage of this. Somebody is dying out of hunger and I have a sandwich. I'm going to sell it to him for $50. And that's haram. You cannot take, this is what they call عقود الطوارئ. Some of it. But
عقود احتياطية، شو معنى عقود احتياطية؟
قياسية؟
احتياطية، أنت هيك قلت.
احتياطية. This is the same thing. I said they are the same thing, all of them. عقود احتياطية, عقود المراهنة, عقود الإف, عقود كذا. احتياطية, احترازية they call it also. You know, like if something happened, I'm buying insurance against it, you know, or I'm buying something against it, not to happen. So, Allah
is that the same as like provisional policy, provisional coverage, provisional?
Yes. Okay. Anybody has a question? تفضلي sister.
You know, car insurance, you pay for car insurance, and then when there is accident, whether it's your fault or not, they raise the policy up again. So that's injustice, right? Does that make it okay?
When you have a car insurance and you get involved in an accident, I have a car insurance, I get into an accident, my policy, the premium changes. It goes up. So she's saying that's injustice, right?
That's what?
Injustice, يعني مش صح مش عادل.
You said.
Okay, but sister, I'm not dealing with this. Those are terms of the policy. You agree with it, you buy it. You don't agree with it, don't buy it and take the risk. It's up to you. Look for another policy. And we're not dealing here with halal and haram. This is a contract. You see, this is a contract. And those are the terms of the contract. Like, for example, I make a contract with somebody to do my driveway. I want it to be done by Friday. If you don't do it by Friday, I'm going to charge you $100 a day for delay. You see? The guy said, you are harami. You know, you're a cheater, you're this. Don't do it. Don't be late. I must get done on Friday. You don't have the capacity to get it done on Friday, don't sign a contract. But when you sign a contract, you're liable. You know, those are conditions, provisions in the contract. You either agree to it or you don't agree with it. When you're buying insurance, tell you. The agent will tell you. Now on TV, they tell you, we have what they call a forgiveness policy. The first accident, we're not going to charge you for it. You know, some people address that particular point, but has nothing to do with me. Yes.
موضوع التكافل الاجتماعي for the other solution for people who accepted the life insurance, they compare it with التكافل الاجتماعي for helping a member of society. So that's the same thing. If you are living in a real Islamic society, they will not leave those people to actually be away. So other people will help, and subhanAllah, maybe they will gather more than the
Jazakallah khair. There's a big difference between التكافل الاجتماعي and the insurance company. The big difference that the scholar have made it is التكافل الاجتماعي is halal, you know, for us to incorporate ourselves into some kind of a block or a box or cooperation where each one of us will pay like $100 into this account. If one of those participants have calamity, then we can take from that box or we can take from that account to help that particular person who has the calamity. They call it takaful ijtima'i.
That's like social obligations? Social obligations?
Islamic social obligation or cooperation.
Social support. Cooperation. Social support. Is it social cooperation or social support? Either way.
Fahim? Social cooperation or social support. This is halal. What is the difference between this one and the insurance company? The scholar said the big difference is that this is not for profit and nobody gets the benefit of it, the social cooperation, versus that the insurance company was made for profit and for the benefit of the members of they made that particular cooperation. So, and that's what Dr. Mustafa Zara rahimahullah said. You're making it haram because it's a profit. Why is it haram? Why? I'm making for you a service company. Service company. Who told you service company is haram? Who told you service company is haram? Service company is not haram. It's providing something, services, whatever those services, providing services for benefit. Why it is haram? You know, all our kings, they have those people, counselor, you know, they sit with them. Only what they do, they bounce ideas against them. And they tell them, right, wrong, I think this way, I think that way. What did they do? Service. Do you have any action, any work? No. But they get paid highly. All the counselors don't do nothing. They just talk. They use their brain. They use their knowledge and their capacity. Okay? Service. Yes, service is halal. Service contract is halal.
Okay, as far as life insurance, you mentioned Dr. Mustafa Zarqa, his opinion. Is this accepted by other scholars?
No. No. Even the original study of Dr. Mustafa Zarqa was not accepted by the other scholars. That's why he went to the first Islamic meeting for all the scholars in Amman. And they all spoke against him. And he wrote that in the book. By the way, the book he made, he wrote that. He said, I went to that Mu'tamar conference and everybody spoke against me. They did not accept my idea. You know, and Sheikh al-Qardawi, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, Sheikh al-Qardawi was one of the guy in the 60s and the 70s who spoke against him. The Sheikh al-Qardawi came back in 2000, and after the 1990 and 2000, he came back and he said, right now, we realize that the Dr. Zarqa was ahead of us 30, 40 years. He acknowledged that. Now some of the scholars are acknowledging his study. But in the beginning, when he done it in Amman in the 60s, in the 70s, in 75, even in the early 80s, no, they did not. But every time, the opposition is getting easier, lesser and lesser, you know, until Dr. Qardawi, you know, even Dr. Qardawi nowadays, he's relating to too much of the study of Dr. Zarqa. Yes, sister.
يا شيخ المحترم العزيز أسألك إيش التاكسي الفلوس حقه حرام؟
No, he gave an example. أعطى example. فكرت إنه التاكسي فلوسه حرام.
شو هذا؟
When I told you why it's haram, and I told you for the taxi, she thought that taxi in general is haram.
Taxi?
Taxi.
جاوبتوها؟ تعالوا.
Is it true that Sheikh Al-Qardawi also ruled, issued a fatwa that mortgage carrying is halal?
For what I know is I read his letter. He's talking about the question that the Sheikh Al-Qardawi made the mortgages for the houses with interest, he made it halal. Sheikh Al-Qardawi did not say that. Okay? And I read the first letter came out, and I also wrote the second book that he made specifically for that one. He said too many people are talking about that I made the riba for mortgages halal. He said I did not. And he titled that booklet, it's a booklet, he titled it Riba al-Bunuk Haram. This is the title. The interest of banks are haram. That's the title of the booklet that he made. What he said is what I said earlier. الضرورات تبيح المحظورات والضرورة تقدر بقدرها والضرورة تقدر بقبل صاحبها. He said necessity can break the rule. You see? And the necessity, it will be by its measure. And you are the one who can say whether that I have necessity or not. And he even gave an example to that one. He said, let's say there's a guy who has 6, 7 children. Muslim people, they have a lot of children. You go try to buy a house, to rent a house with 6, 7 children. If the rent was 800, he's going to charge you 1,400 because your kids, Afarid, they're gonna demolish the house. So they charge you more. And then every year, the law give them the right to increase your rent, 5 to 10%. So here you're going up and up and up and up. And then you're not making that much. Your kids are growing, so the expenses is getting more, okay? And your mortgage, your rent is going more, so you cannot make it. You have to pay here or you have to pay here. So this guy, he has no way. Nobody is renting him, or they're charging him too much for the rent, okay? They're taking advantage of his situation. So this guy, he knows that he's going to reach a point that he's not going to meet his obligation toward the children, or toward the house, or the expense, or toward the rent. So what does this guy do? He can go ahead and buy a house. He can buy a house and make it easy on him. Why? Because the same house that you're renting for $1,200 or $1,400, you can buy with mortgage for $500 or $600. So you can make it better for you. He made it okay for this guy. He made it make it okay for anybody. And also, him and other scholars, they made so many provisions, which are, let's talk about it, which are, because it's widely spread and it's not right. If you can live in a house that's worth $60,000, you should not buy a house for $100,000. Provision number one. You live within your means. Okay, some people said, well, I'm going to get a loan from the bank. I have good credit, and so the bank can give me a loan for $1,000 a month payment, and $1,000 a month payment, I can go buy me a house, for $150,000 in such and such area. No, you should not. Number one. Number two, I have saved some money. You have to pay all the money that you have toward that house, because there's something wrong. You're trying to minimize it. That loan is wrong. That loan is a disease. It's something you need to get rid of. So what you do is you need to pay every penny you have toward that particular loan. Okay? Because it's a necessity. The third provision is, let's say that the bank can give me a loan. The third provision is that the bank can give you a loan for 30 years. Or some bank, they can give you a loan for 40 years. And they can make the payment very low. You have to make the payment as high as possible to get rid of the loan. You have to minimize the years of the loan as much as you can and as much as it will fit your budget. Okay? That third provision. Fourth provision, let's say my father died and I got an inheritance, $10,000. I need to take those $10,000 and go pay it to the bank to lessen the loan or to get rid of it. So I have something wrong, I need to get rid of it. Okay? I have done it because of a necessity, but I need to get it done with as much as I can. So they have all those provisions. So it's not an open door for anybody to get into it. Another question. تفضل.
Peace of mind. Let's go back to the peace of mind thing. I mean, don't we have to trust in Allah? And because Qadr is there, if anything calamity comes, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No.
So why should we take insurance? That's what my point is.
Okay. The Prophet ﷺ told them that there are Arabs, they made coalition against you to invade Al-Medina, Ghazwat al-Ahzab. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ collected the people and said, Ashiru alayhi, tell me, give me advice. And Salman al-Farsi radiallahu anhu said, we dig a ditch around the Medina. Why did he dig a ditch? Why didn't he depend on Allah? Why didn't he lift his hand and said, Ya Rab, alayka bihim, kayfa shi'ta wa anna shi'ta? Why? Why he dig that trench? Why did he appoint guards day and night to be there on that ditch to protect? Why did he make a treaty with the Jews to cover that side of the Medina? Why? Brother, we make mistakes between depending on Allah, trusting Allah, and between taking the pressure, the proper measure for what we do. We depend on Allah when we take the proper measure. We depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we do the precautions. You see? This has nothing to do with Qadr. Other scholars, they said, do you know Qadr? Do you know? No, you don't. But you dress well. I go to trip, I take my jacket in case it's going to happen. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know the Qadr. I don't know whether it's going to rain. I don't know if it's going to be cold. But my job is to take the proper measure. The confusion, this idea is very confusing. And it's not today. Even it happened at the time of the Sahaba. Two main big ones in the Sahaba. They were head and head. Umar ibn Khattab, Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah. Umar ibn Khattab, they sent him a letter, they told him that there is waba, disease, calamity, what do you call it, waba,
Plague.
Disease, waba, ta'un. Anybody knows ta'un?
Plague. Plague.
Plague. Going on around the Bilad al-Sham, the southern of Syria. So Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu sent a letter to the army. The Amir al-Mu'mineen it's an order. Do not go there. Stop. Park wherever you are. Who is the leader? Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah. Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah sent a letter back. Exactly what you said. أتفر من قدر الله? Are you running away from the fate of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Umar, on the same letter, he wrote on the back of it, what did he say? He said, نفر من قدر الله إلى قدر الله. We run from the fate of Allah to the fate of Allah. The fate of Allah is for you to have a precaution. You cannot stop the fate of Allah if it's going to happen. The fate of Allah had happened that we have the plague, we have the disease. Okay? But it is your job to take the proper precaution. That is the fate of Allah. I don't throw myself at something wrong and say, if Allah wants me to die, I'll die. I drive my car 100 miles an hour. If Allah wants me to have an accident, I have an accident. This is stupid. This is not depending on Allah. This is not trusting Allah. This is not tawakkul. This is mere stupidity. Not understanding the Sharia. The Sharia is, I don't mean you, by the way. Don't tell me. But I've heard this so much time from so many people is, you know, the faith of Allah that you get hungry. You don't go eat. Because it's the faith of Allah that for you to get hungry, we go eat. You see? We get disease by the faith of Allah. We go to the doctor, we get medicine. You run from the faith of Allah. Look at the Sayyidina Umar, how sharp. We run from the faith of Allah to the faith of Allah. Some people change that letter as they wrote it in the fuqaha, in the book. We run from qadarillah ila himayatillah. We run from the faith of Allah to the protection that the Sharia showed us. Okay? I hope this is enough.
I don't think that he understands. You are not actually advertising for ta'meen. You said if this situation, the ta'meen was haram for a long time and for most of the scholars, if you want to decide to take a ta'meen, you can take it for the insurance under the thoughts of that scholar, which is Mustafa Zarqat. You're not advertising and encouraging people to have ta'meen. You're not, as a sheikh.
Is that what you said?
So it's not. You can understand.
He's talking about the peace of mind versus tawakkul ala Allah.
But it's up to you. If your peace of mind to connect with God, do that. You don't have to find ta'meen to have a peace of mind if you really have that in your heart. If, on the other hand, if you decide
I think she needs to sit right next to you. I think you need to have a chair right next to you.
I think it's time for salah. So, what she said, akhi, you understand?
Yeah. No, again, coming back to this one, like if I personally feel if our house gets burned down, my family will not be on the roadside. Should I take insurance or not?
No.
Akhi, all we're running around once situation.
You have to clear it out.
No. I'm going to clear it out for you. It's up to you. I'm not telling you it's mandatory for you to buy or mandatory for you not to buy. You are the one who considers your situation and decide.
But as a sheikh, as a knowledgeable person, I'll ask you, if you were in my situation...
I don't want to call my family. You want to call your family? It's up to you. Don't buy insurance. I don't want to call my family.
I don't want. I didn't understand your last one. I did not understand your last one.
I said it is up to you. You want to call your family and depend on them for your calamity, God forbid. It's up to you. Do that. I don't want to call my family. I don't want to depend on my family.
With the resources you have, still you want to do that? I mean, with the resources you have, I mean, you are quite, alhamdulillah, capable of, your family is capable of living without, with the calamity coming to them, or God forbid. Are you still in a position to take the insurance? That's
yes,
my question.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
If I can add a little bit. Also, the peace of mind is come to, the situation you are in. Like if I am in a Muslim country, it's different than the others. And this is all applied because I tell you, if I have my house, as Adam said, alhamdulillah, for God bidding, something happened to my house, I have another, I save and I can buy another house. The problem is not here. If the house is burned and get damaged to other house, I will be liable for that house also. If somebody walking on this sidewalk, and it's happened with Abu Nijm, in his house. He used to have a house in Oblan Park. Somebody walking on the sidewalk and fell down. They sue him. So, and this is, it's called Sunni country.
Sheikh,
that's what it's so.
Sheikh, there's
and then
one.
you will be in a lot of, that Allahu A'lam.
Sheikh Abdullah, it's my main concern was the life insurance. Every other insurance is the law. You have no choice. Islamic, non-Islamic, you have to do it because that's the law. The life insurance, the necessity makes sense. Like for example, if I've got 2 children that they're in college and it requires $60,000 in tuition, I want to have the peace of mind that if I die from the qadr of Allah, that they will continue to go to college. Or expenses like that. So would I be able to justify it like that?
You make the justification, I don't make it
But
for you.
do I have the allowance to make justification based on those?
I'm not going to go into everybody and find what justification that would be applied to him or not. You understand the rule, you apply it to yourself, you have piety, you have taqwa, and you find what is necessity for you or necessary for you and do it. And what's not necessary, it's not an open door. All what I'm trying to say is it is not an open door. It is not an invitation for you to buy anything. I don't sell anything, okay? But I'm telling you what the rules are. What can be done, what cannot be done. He does not want to buy insurance on this house because he is rich. That's up to him. He has a family he can depend on. It's fine. They don't have to buy. You see? He made that choice. So you understand your situation and you act like it. But نحن يعني I'm giving you the possibility and what the scholar have said. But I have not said anything from my side. I don't make no verdict. I don't make anything. I just I'm a liaison or a vehicle to transfer the information from what the different scholars have said. I think, alhamdulillah, by the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I covered a lot of the points I got on this page, which I was surprised. بالعربي هاي بدك تعملي بدنا صورة. طيب. So we got. The only thing I did not cover, as I'm going back and forth on it, there are too many things I did not cover, but they're not in the main subject, you know, it's not the pillar of the subject. But a najash, somebody also talk about what is najash. Some people said it is na bil fatha, jim bil sukun, najsh. You know? Yeah. But it is too difficult to have 2 sukoon, so they call it najash. What does a najash mean is, a najash is somebody, like for example in an auction. So we're auctioning this. Somebody will say $5. I told the sister, I said, whenever the price, raise it up. It's an agreement between me and her. It could be. It could be no agreement. She could be my wife next to her. She said, well, this is expensive. So she raises her hand. So says 30, 40, 50. My wife raised her hand. She said 60, just to raise the price. She's not going to buy it. You see, 60. Then somebody else 70, 75. She said 76. She's trying to raise the price. And najish, a person who raised the price without the interest of owning it or buying it. He's just trying to inflate the price to make for me to make profit. He either is going to be on my side. Usually he's on my side. Usually it could be with agreement to do that. And sometimes it could be without agreement. This is haram. And najish is the person who raised the price without the intention of buying it or owning it. This is the only thing. Jazakumullah khair. Yes.
If you rent a place, do you require rental insurance?
If you do what?
If you rent a place, if you rent an apartment, do you require rental insurance?
You could have, there are rental insurance. As a landlord, I buy insurance on the house, on the premises. You as a renter, you buy insurance on the contents. Because if the house burned up, your contents went away with it. So you could buy insurance. And by the way, it's very cheap. Rental insurance is about like between $30 to $60.
No, even $15.
No, I bought it. I buy rental insurance for my renters.
Oh, okay.
So last time nationwide insurance cost me $35. You know, but also it depends on how much you're buying. $35, I buy you $5,000 only policy. for insurance. You want more, then you have to pay more. Any quick question?
You said about the najash. The auction, you know, if you agree or not agree, yes, we are, I mean, understandable that it's haram. But what about if I want to buy this telephone and the brother Akram, he want to buy this telephone? He say,
Yeah, stick with the definition. And najish, a person raises the price without...
He has no intention of buying it.
He does not want to buy it.
We have an intention, but this how we get, you know, like to understand the other hadith, you know, لا يجوز لك البيع على بيع أخيك.
على بيع أخيك.
إيه هذا مو دخل بالنجش.
No, but it is raising the price.
He raised the price. إيه.
I'm raising it also.
Right.
He want to buy it and I want to buy it.
Yes.
I'm raising the price.
So what? What's the problem?
For the hadith الثاني لا يأخذ على شراء أخيه.
No, that's not the meaning of the hadith.
Okay, don't do that. That's why I want to
use the hadith when it's his turn.
تقصد الظهر ولا لا؟
لا نصلي الظهر إن شاء الله.
طيب. The hadith is widely misunderstood and a lot of people use it. The hadith says ولا تبع على بيع أخيك. The meaning of that hadith is that this I sold it for $2. The price of it is $2. Everywhere you go is $2. He hates me. He comes to the guy who was buying this from me for $2 and said, I'll sell it to you for $1.50. He cheated you. It's not worth $2. That's the haram. ولا تبع على بيع أخيك. I'm going to sell you this for $2. He calls him back. I'm going to sell it to you for $1.50. You see? This is على بيع أخيك. What are you trying to do is you're trying to make your brother lose a sale. I did not cheat. I didn't charge more. I didn't do nothing. Or he comes to say, he said, he sell you $2. I give you $2 one with it's better. Different color, better color, it's sturdier, it's this and that. What you're trying to do with the hadith, what he meant, that you do not put down the business of your brother for your own benefit, or because you hate, or because you're grudges, or because you're trying to revenge from him or whatever. This is what's haram. My brother sold this for $2, sell it for $2, so what?
الفرق باللغة العربية بين البيع والشراء. أنت عم تقول له لا تشتري على شراء أخوك أو حمزة، بس هو عم تقول له ولا تبع على بيع أخوك. البائع هو الذي يبيع، فما بيصير حدا يبيع على بيعه. والشراء أنت اللي فكرت.
بس هون في توكيس. يعني somebody is trying to buy from me, you come to him and then don't buy from him, I'll buy from you a better one. This is what's haram. هذيك المنافسة في البيع has nothing to do with this. How do we know now? Could may have a separate question. How do we know that the auction is halal? Is the auction halal? Separate question. Yes, the auction is halal. Raising the price until it reaches a point, you know, and I buy it, it's halal. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ have done it. Remember the guy who came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't have food. He said, what do you have? He said, I have some furniture. He said, bring it. So he brought the furniture. He said, who's going to buy this mattress? One guy said $1. So then the Prophet ﷺ sold his commodity in an auction to the Sahaba. And then he got 15 dirham. He said, here's 5. You go feed your family for a week. And take those 10 and go buy an ox. And go and break some wood. وَلَا تُرِينِي وَجْهَكَ عَشْرَةَ أَيَّامٍ. Don't come back to me in 10 days. I don't want to see you. Buy and sell. He bought and sell. He made money. He came back. He said, go back and buy your mattress. So he made that. So it's two different issues. جزاكم الله خير. بارك الله فيكم. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خير وبارك الله فيكم.